Hey everyone, welcome back to another OSCP Journey video. I know it's been a minute since I made a video. Like I said in the last episode, I'm still in school and I'm working on stuff, so I haven't really had a lot of time. But I figured today I would take some time and make this video because I won't be able to do this again once I'm not in classes anymore. So I'm currently in a class that gives me access to NETLAB. If you're familiar with NETLAB, you'll kind of see where this is going. Maybe, I don't know. If you're not familiar with NETLAB, NETLAB is this kind of resource that often is used by universities and I guess some businesses to provide a lab for training and education, usually in information security. I think they have other types of curriculums that are associated with the NETLABs, but for the most part I've only really seen system administration and things like ethical hacking labs and computer forensics. In fact, the class I'm in now is computer forensics. And so while I'm in this class I have access to NETLAB, and I wanted to see if I could hack the environment in the NETLAB just for fun. The machines in the environment are meant to be hacked. Even in the forensics lab they're vulnerable, and they give you Kali and backtrack machines so you can play around with that kind of stuff if you want to. Nobody really does, but I figured I would give it a shot and just kind of see where I go and how far I get. NETLAB there's some kind of constraints. This is kind of the challenge I'm posing myself with, and this is kind of why I'm doing it. First off, I'm on a time constraint. In about 5 minutes here, my lab access will open up. I'll have access to it for about an hour. Once that hour's up, I can open a new pod if I need to. If I'm really trugging along and I'm doing a good job and I haven't pwned all the machines already, I'll open a new pod and just cut the clip and start again. But otherwise, I'm limited to an hour in hacking the machines. I'm also limited by a couple other things. First off, the NETLAB is kind of crappy. The curriculum is okay. Just depends on how you look at it. It's kind of dated, but sometimes that doesn't matter. Sometimes it's still applicable. But some of the machines are really dated. Like the backtrack and Kali boxes are, well, first off, you have a backtrack box. Second off, the Kali boxes are the version 1 of Kali. And then you don't have any internet access, so you can't update your tools. And anything like that. So even though there may be a new exploit out for some of these really old machines, you can't utilize that easily. I thought of a plan to kind of, if I really needed to, I could zip up some files, base64 encode them, load them onto like a ducky or a bash bunny, and then have it automatically type it in for me if I need to. So worst comes to worst, I can always try to pass those scripts over. But I'm going to try to do it without that. I don't think it'll need to be that complicated because there are a lot of default credentials on these things. A lot of things are using password as the login, and we may be able to take advantage of that. We'll see. I haven't actually hacked any machines in these labs, so this is going to be that's one other challenge. And the viewer is kind of crappy, so it's some weird Java web applet viewer. So those are the challenges we're faced with. We're faced with dated tools, no internet access, no way to download stuff or transfer stuff we already have, and a crappy little web applet viewer. So that's what we're dealing with. And a time limit. Yeah, and we have an hour to do it. So we're kind of dealing with those constraints and we're just gonna see how far we can get. And it'll be kind of fun. So, still got 5 minutes to the lab. Turns on. So what I've done here is download the topology. So this is topology. What we're looking at. We have an external network and an internal network. And the external network, although it's external, like I said, there's still no internet. But we're going to start here. We're going to start on this Kali box. We're going to try to take over this Windows machine, and then if we can. Our main targets, the Windows machine is just for fun. The main targets are actually either the PWNing firewall or the Linux sniffer. The Linux sniffer, I'm not sure how we'll access yet. I don't think it has an IP associated with it because it's just sniffing traffic back and forth in the network. But if we could own it, that's great because it looks like it can access both sides of the network. Otherwise, we want to get in the firewall and open up some ports so we can pivot on through. But otherwise, we'll use the Linux sniffer as an actual pivot rather than just creating rules to allow us to the firewall. If we're not able to do any of that because I'm too stupid, that's fine. We'll pretend like we did make it in. We'll start on the backtrack machine, and then we'll try to take over these two machines from here. So that's kind of our plan of attack. We'll start here, see how far we can get. If we get stuck, we'll just skip into the backtrack to see if we can pwn the other machines inside the network. So that's the topology we're looking at. So yeah, I will cut the video here and we'll get started once my lab opens. Alright, so my lab is opened. Should have access now, so I'm going to start up the Kali client. We'll connect in. Alright. Right off the bat, default creds, we hacked into our first machine, right? So we're gonna go ahead and get the pedal metal. We could just look at our topology for IPs, but we're gonna do things right. So let's do a net discover -r 216.1.1.0/24, and we're going to try to discover all the IPs in this particular subnet. Alright, finished. So we found the router and we found the Windows 7 machine. I think this is what this will be. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we have the Linux sniffer, so that's interesting. Let's see, tmux-new session s. Sweet, tmux is working great. Alright, let's start us an mmap. So we want to do mmap, default scripts, enumerate versions, try to detect operating system, and output all formats to mmap/7 RIP. In fact, we need to make a directory called mmap real quick. So let's do make dir mmap and start our scan. This might take a minute, so I may cut here and wait for the scan results. Alright, looks like our scan's done. Let's look at the results. So right off the bat, we see some interesting stuff. We got port 21 is open, and looks like it now allows anonymous login. Port 80 is open. Microsoft IS 7.5, we could probably look up stuff associated with that. Don't know if there is anything. We got a lot of interesting ports open here. 4.5, 135, 139, RPC ports. Looks like we are Windows 7 Service Pack 1, so Eternal Blue would probably work, but we don't have access to that metasploit module. If we were going to use it through metasploit, and then my exploit code, I would have to package up and send over the wire somehow. So that's not really feasible at the moment, although it probably would be an instant own. And if we get real stuck, maybe we can just give it a go, but probably not. So let's look at what we have here. Student PC is the NetBIOS compute name. So it's a good chance that our username is probably something related to student. And it says count as used for SMP scripts as guests. Use a little accident. Okay, so we've got a potential username. We have service versions and stuff like that. Let's go look at the open ports first. I like web stuff. You guys, I think I've said it before, I'm kind of a web weenie. Woo, it works. Alright, what we could do is start up a dirbuster in the background. We don't have GoBuster. I'll cry. We'll be okay. Do it the old-fashioned way. So we'll do 40 threads. 40 threads. Oh man. Alright, so we got user, share. So you got, oh look, updates that we can't download. That's great. Wordless, dirbuster, maybe that's 2.2 medium. It'll be recursive. We want text files. We want, since this is an IS server, we'll look for ASP and ASPX files. I don't think we'll find any of this, but we'll just let the bad boy run. See what happens. So while that's going, we will connect to the anonymous FTP server, see how that goes. if we can open a file browser here. Controls are kind of finicky. So according to our map scan, we should be able to anonymous log in here. Should be pretty sweet. Not sure what kind of stuff it'll give us, but look at that. We are on the FTP. Alright, let's copy this file, let's see what's inside. Oh, come on. There we go. What? That's weird. Come on. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. Yes, delete that. Come on. You're giving me beef just opening it, so I'm gonna drag it off maybe. There we go. Okay, it just says hi. That was a waste of time. Well, let's see if we... Come on. See if we can write to the FTP directory. So we'll say test write. Rename. Test. And let's draw this guy on the FTP server. Hey, alright, so we can write. Let's go back to our so finicky. 216. There we go. I like to check and see if the FTP root and the web root are the same. Looks like they're not, or at least they don't appear to be. I've seen that on a couple challenges I've done before. If you can write to the FTP root and write ASP shell, you may be good to go. Alright, so FTP is not really fruitful at the moment, but it's good to know we have it, so we'll just leave that open. Or we'll close out of the window, but we'll leave the connection open, as you can see over here. No DIRs found yet. Let's look at maybe trying to just log in. I don't know how well this is going to work. Our desktop does. Let's get a nice GUI going. It's probably going to run like crap if it's successful, but it'll be a nice own. So dash user username. I guess we can probably get a shell out of this. Dash P. Alright, so if we say our desktop 216.1.1.200-u is student, I think it was. Oop. I don't know if that's the right cd in that. Cd.cat. In that. Student was right. Where's my IP? Where's my mine? 216.1.1.200. That was right, yeah. I guess so. Oh. RDP port may not. Yeah, okay. So I'm assuming that RDP is running. That may not work. Let's see if we can do like a psexec. I'm going to try to do it without metasploit. I don't know how to do that off the top of my head, so we're going to have to Google. psexec without metasploit Kali. Credentials to Windows Box services. Well, you don't have a Windows box right now, so we can't. In packet psexec. Wonder if we have that. Alright. Define psexec. There we go. Let's see, got some metasploit stuff. Ah, there's the Python in packet. Alright, so in packet psexec. So let's go look at that. CD over to here. Not a directory. What do you mean not a directory? C/cd user share dot f. It isn't a directory because psexec not a directory. Alright, so Python psexec. Let's get some help. Maybe. New module name examples. I see the issue we're gonna have here. We may be forced to use the metasploit module, and that's okay. You know, I won't let that beat me up too much. Let's start up the SF console. Yeah, I always try not to use metasploit, just for training for the OSCP, but for the case of psexec, well, we'll let it slide because there's about 50 different ways to do psexec from Kali, and it's all the same stuff. Alright, so let's psexec metasploit. And you could also technically use this psexec script as a standalone Ruby script, I believe. So yeah, use Windows. Alright, so let's see. I'll say search psexec. That's fine. Use slow search. Just stare at the calc output while we wait. It's all good. Actually, let's go look at our Dirtbuster. Nothing. Okay, that's kind of lame. Alright, so let's see psexec. So we'll say use exploit Windows SMB psexec. Show options. Alright, this is looking good, pretty good so far. So we'll set our host to 216.1.1.200. We know that the user should have the username. We're guessing based on the host information. Usually when you type in the host, when you're setting up your login credentials, it'll be whatever your username is -PC. That's where I'm getting that information from. For those who may be confused how I know the username, I don't actually know the username, but I'm kind of guessing that it's student. And set SMB pass. We're gonna try password. If this doesn't work, we'll try like password 123. I know that these machines. I know for a fact these machines have default creds, or dumb creds, just because based on the labs that I've done with them. So that's where I'm getting this information. So we'll say run. Uh-oh. Alright, we got a shell back. We are a system. Alright, that's pretty hot. So I guess we can do stuff now. We can do crazy stuff like hash dump and see that student NTLM hash, but it doesn't really matter because we are the administrator on the system. We don't have to get system either. Let's see. Oh, there's that hi.text. Ah, it's right outside. Okay, that's interesting. Let's look at this auto exec.back. I like that. Exec.back. Random dummy file. Okay. Don't know what that really is, but that's interesting. Let's check out what's in that inet pub directory. See if there is anything else. No, there's nothing. That Durbuster is a waste of time. Let's go ahead and go ahead and kill it. Alright, so that's one machine owned. Sweet. We'll background that session. We'll have that open. We'll call this 17. Alright, let's go look and see if we can mmap that. Where is it? Oh, I guess we'll just do it again. Mmap that firewall. So let's say default scripts, service versions, operating system detection. I put all formats to mmap/firewall 216.1.1.1. I don't know anything about firewalls, so even if this does have default creds, I'm not sure how I can guess the username. So this is going to be kind of an interesting attempt. But we will let that go and go from there. Okay, so scan ports for this guy. Didn't really find a whole lot. Maybe it's got a web interface. Let's consult the topology. 161.1.1.1, yeah. Yeah, maybe it's got a web interface and it's just not showing us. If not, I'm not sure how we'll be able to get in, because it's probably outward facing. And it's not going to be a viable way for us to get in if it doesn't have any ports open. Won't be able to even attempt to exploit anything. Yep, so that looks like kind of a fail. And we don't see the Linux sniffer, so we can't even go after that. Alright, well, let's jump straight into the internal network then. So we own the Windows 7 machine, albeit it was default creds, kind of lame. Just password was the password and student was the username. But sometimes that's all it takes, and it's important to actually try those. I find that to be said a lot whenever I watch like talks or other tutorials and stuff like that, is just at least try the default creds, because if it works, then that was an easy in, just like we have here, and if it doesn't work, well, you can move on to the other stuff. So there we go with that. So we're done here. So we'll close out of this. We still got a little bit of time left. We got until 12:30 here. It's 11:50 now. So let's go ahead and load up the backtrack machine and pretend like we just made our way onto the internal network. Gotta wait on backtrack to boot up here. The thing that sucks about backtrack is oftentimes stuff just don't work real well. Just because it's so old. So let's see, backtrack login root. There we go. Alright, we're in. Let's check out. Alright, so we have a typical IP range, so we should be able to net discover like normal, see what's on the network. So from here we can try to pwn. Let's consult the. We could try to go after the firewall again, as well as the Deft and XP Pro machines. So we will give that a go. I guess we'll go after the XP machine first, since it's going to be the easy one, right? So let's make dir nmap, and we'll run our standard reconnaissance scans. So service version, operating system detection, and output all formats to nmap/XP. And then we want to say 192.168.1.175. We'll probably be able to own this one pretty easily with MSO at 067. We'll see. We'll at least check. I'll try to do the manual exploitation like I've done in a previous video, actually applying that here just for practice rather than using the metasploit module. Just see how it goes. Assuming that that script is in searchable, I would imagine it would be, because it's MSO806. I'm like, come on. Alright, well, I'll cut this in when the scan's finished. We'll come back and look at it. Alright, cool. So our nmap scan results return. Looks like we have anonymous FTP again. Looks like there's some images here. Ethical hacking. SMTP is open. So it looks like that's kind of interesting. We got ISHB 5.1, so it's really old. It looks like we will be able to like put files on there, so it looks like we can probably get into this machine multiple different ways. So even if it's not vulnerable to the classic, we can give a couple different ideas a shot. So yeah, that's some fancy stuff right there. All right, cool. Here's what we'll do. We'll say, does this thing even have tmux? It's not installed. Here's what we'll do. We'll start up the GUI, and we'll get. The only reason I'm doing this because I do want to try out that, be able to try out that the web side of things. Internet. Alright, so let's see. 192.168.1.175. Alright, it works. So we should be able to do some fancy stuff. Oh man, this is old. Oh no. This didn't work the same way I wanted it to. Alright, this is going to be slightly more difficult than anticipated. That is okay. Not the end of the world. Old Firefox doesn't have the same dev tools that we have nowadays. So let's see if we've got... Was Burp Suite even a thing back in the day? It's going to be kind of difficult to exploit that put command on that web server if that is a thing. Like if it's a valid thing here, because I don't have my usual tools of the trade. Not impossible that I can go look up an article about doing, I think, like over with curl or netcat or something. But let's take the easy way out for now, because we're limited on time. And we still got one more machine that we gotta go after, plus the firewall if we have time. So we'll start this up. We're gonna just use this for checking if the exploit exists, or checking if it is vulnerable to the exploit. If we have to, we will use metasploit for exploiting it. But I'm gonna go ahead and is there no search exploit? No. So I bet that exploit's not on here. So we may have to take advantage of metasploit in this case. If there was an easy way for me to transfer files, we wouldn't have to do that. Hate that. Feel like such a skid, but it'll be okay. Not the end of the world. We didn't know what we were getting into. So let's use exploit Windows SMB MSO8 67. Show options. Host 192.168.1.175. So what's really cool about Metasploit that I learned by watching Metasploit Minute, shout out to Rob Fuller and the guys over at Hack5, is that sometimes modules have a check command associated with them. I know some modules have like the scanner, like the Eternal Blue exploit has a specific auxiliary scanner that will tell you if it's vulnerable or not, similar to the script that's associated in the exploit code that I've shown in other videos. But for the Metasploit modules that don't have a scanner, sometimes you can use the check command. It has this check built in, and it'll just check and see if it's vulnerable. Oh wow, it's vulnerable. Not all that surprising. It is Windows XP after all. But that's a really neat trick that I like a lot. I'm not sure if you can use that on the OSCP or not. I would steer clear just in case, because it is metasploit after all. But in general, for pen testing and CTFs and stuff anyway, that's good to know. So we can just exploit it now, since we know we're going to have a bad time if we don't use the script kiddie way. Alright, got a shell. That's 2 boxes owned. Key through our system, and we are here. So thing about MS-08-067 is kind of not stable, so let's look at our processes and try to migrate to something a little bit more stable, like SVC host 124. If we're going to use Metasploit, we're going to use it to its fullest, right? Alright, so now we are SVC host, and we are still... Alright, so there's a crucial mistake I just made here. I didn't check and see what the SVC host was running as. And it was running as a local user. So I've actually lost my admin privileges here. So we want to... we want to kill this and risk it all and get our session back, because we want those admin privileges, right? So hopefully this won't crash it. Alright, cool. So we got our admin back. Alright, that's one machine owned. Let's open up another terminal. We'll have to do another net discover because I don't remember the other IP. Alright. Do an mmap -sc -sv -o. I'll put all formats to mmap. I think it was deft was what it was called, and it was 192.168.1.100. Now let's see what returns back. We've hacked the 2 machines that I know are hackable. We got about half an hour left. 2 out of 3 potential targets. I guess technically 4 if you consider the Linux cipher, but the Linux cipher turned out to be out of bounds. I guess you can still consider it 4 if we're able to look into the firewall. In fact, let's go ahead and scan the firewall from the inside. I hate not having tmux, got so many terminals open. Oh, that's done. Oh, we'll just stick with patience. So, let's see here. This guy says we got port 139 and port 445 open. No exact OS matches, but if you look at the TCP/IP fingerprint, it looks like it is a 32-bit Linux machine. It's kind of hard to tell. Doesn't really have a whole lot of information. It's like Samba. This is probably a Linux box. And I'm not sure if there are any exploits available for it. Let's go look at those open ports again. Samba SMDB. So what we can do is use search exploit here just to see if there is anything. So we can say Samba. SMB raw client 3.0.29. That would maybe be us. Some server. Yeah, okay. If this fingerprinting is right, it won't be vulnerable to that. Huh. Let's look at this other Samba stuff. 3. Symlink opening files outside share directory. Denial service. Let's see what we have in terms. Maybe we can do like a default Creds thing. Some psexec. That seems kind of fun. There's H. psexec style with some tools. Okay. Enumerate shares. Let's give this a shot. I've never used this before. Maybe this will help us. Oh shoot, maybe root? A domain for this user account. Failed. Huh. Local account. Let's go with the good old reverse HTTPS. 168.1.50. If this works, I'll be impressed. You know, we always listen on Leet. Never used this tool before. This is kind of nice. I like this. Does use Meterpreter by default though, so keep in mind that for my OSCP folks. Although it does let you specify Windows payload. I did say that on the other pane. Alright. Looks like it's doing some good old shikataganai encoding. To evade that pesky AV. I'm realizing a downfall here though. If this is a Linux box, this payload's not going to work. We might want to just kill it now. It's a waste of time. Alright. Let's look at the firewall then. Firewalls are fun. Never hacked a firewall before. SV O-T4 and that FW192.168.1.1. See how it goes. Alright, looks like we actually have some information now that we're on the inside. It's pfSense firewall. It's got DNS mask 2.55 and it's running a web server, so there's probably an admin interface we can access. Let's do that. Let's go to the admin interface before we start looking at exploits. If we can just log in and get it, we got it. Not 175, just dot one. Come on now. Good old pfSense. This looks very familiar to Hack the Box challenge. I think the user name is usually pfSense followed by pfSense. Nope. Maybe root tor. Interesting. Let's look at the default pfSense creds. pfSense defaults. Admin pfSense. Alright, let's try that out. Admin pfSense. Hey, alright, that's awesome. Default creds get you in every time. Alright, so we are on the firewall now. So now we could do some really dirty stuff if we wanted to. Let's see if we can. Services. PN firewall rules. See, I've never used the pfSense firewall, so add new rule, pass, interface, come into the WAN because we want to open up some stuff. Let's see, ICMP type, we don't care. Source, don't care. I guess we do care. We want source to be... Yeah, we don't care about that. We do care about this. Let's open up, have some fun. Let's open this up on port. I guess we'll say 30. Making it kind of difficult for me to do this. Alright, I'm gonna be real. I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm running out of time. I got 20 minutes left, and this video is probably long enough as is. But we do have admin access to the firewall, so if I just did a little bit more research, we could start port forwarding and doing all kinds of funky stuff, so we could actually give that Kali box that has some more updated tools access to everything on this network, including the firewall itself. We could have opened up the firewall port to give myself admin access externally too, which is really a really big no-no. So cool. Out of all the stuff on the network, let's look at the topology. Looks like we, of course, we pwned our own pen tester boxes with those default credentials. But we successfully got into the Windows 7 machine using username student and password as password, just trying it on the first whim. It worked out great. We weren't able to get in the firewall externally, but when we started back on the internal side, got into our Backtrack 5 machine, owned the Windows XP Pro with a good old classic fine-tuned MSO8067. We tried the Def machine. Doesn't look like there's anything we can really do about it. And if there is, nothing I can do within the next 15 minutes without rebooting my lab time. And then we did get the firewall. So out of all of our 4 targets, we got 3 out of 4. That's not too bad, especially for not having done anything before. Now, granted, this is a really, really easy lab, and this lab wasn't specifically made for pen testing. It just has the added benefit that you're able to pen test because you have the Backtrack and Kali machines, and the machines are obviously vulnerable to some exploits as well as some exploits as well as some misconfigurations. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, if you saw anything in this video that could have totally been owned, like the Def machine, and I just didn't spend time on it, make a comment about it. Tell me how you would have done it. Maybe I'll try it out and show it in another video while I still have access to the NETLAB. Otherwise, that'll be it for this video. No, it's kind of lame. Lab was kind of easy, but it was a cool approach being on a time crunch with limited resources. It's kind of a good thing that the lab was easy, because with all these constraints, I wouldn't have been able to do quite as well had there been no default creds, or had there been no like modern exploits that I would have done without having up-to-date utilities. So anyway, I'll stop talking now, blabbling on. I will hopefully have another video out relatively soon, sooner than this video has came out. I'll be probably taking a crack at another VulnHub VM, either that or I will do a review of my Hack the Box machine Celestial as part of this series. We'll see. It just depends on when that gets retired in relation to when I am graduated and able to continue. Good news as far as my future. I have accepted a full-time position. Currently I'm starting out as a dual role doing web dev and security, and I'm working as a security analyst. But that security analyst role is my primary focus, and I do a lot of things from pen testing to some blue team stuff. I'm kind of new, so I'm getting onto it, but it's an exciting opportunity, and I'll start full time officially here soon. But what's really awesome is they are sending me to DEF CON, and they are going to help me pay for my OSCP along with any other certifications. So my OSCP is going to happen at some point at the end of this year, covered by my company, and I'm super excited. So that was an awesome opportunity. I'm super excited for that. So we'll keep training because it's going to happen, and I'll keep putting out videos while I'm training. So thanks for bearing with me. I appreciate all my new subscribers. I hope you guys are still enjoying videos. Always leave comments and feedback. I enjoy it, positive or negative. Always willing to talk and improve. Thanks for watching.